Proposition 38, Tax to Fund Education and Early Childhood Programs, Initiative Statute. Plain language, raise taxes to fund education and early childhood programs. What does it do? It increases the income tax on all income over $7,316. People with the lowest income would get a 0.4% tax raise, and people with the highest incomes would receive a 2.2% tax raise. Here's how the extra tax money would be spent according to this law. This tax would last until 2024. For the first 4 years, 60% would go to K-12 schools, and within that, 70% for per-student general use funds, 12% for per-student training technology teaching material funds, and 18% to schools with low-income students. 30% of it would go to repaying state debt, and 10% would go to early childhood programs. After the first 4 years, 85% would go to K-12 schools, and 15% would go to early childhood programs. And that 15% would be used to expand funding for kids aged 3 through 5, aka preschool, and it would be used to establish a new birth to age 3 program. The Prop 38 tax money would be divided amongst schools based on how many students attend the school, and it would be spent at the discretion of local governments. The state government would not be allowed to control this money. Finally, Prop 38 contains all the accountability jargon about school board meetings and public hearings to determine how the money is spent and ensure accountability, etc., etc. Fiscal impact. The legislative analyst estimates that Prop 38 would bring in $10 billion in new tax money every year. Long story short, Prop 38 aims to increase income taxes on almost all Californians and spend that tax money on K-12 schools, early childhood programs and preschools, and state debt repayment. From the folks at Yes on Prop 38, instead of investing in our schools, political leaders from both parties have been cutting. Over $20 billion since 2008. Over 40,000 educators have been laid off, and California now has the largest class sizes in the nation. Education is our future because the children are our future. Without quality schools, our state will lack the skilled workforce needed to grow our economy and create jobs. Prop 38 will restore and expand school funding and make schools a priority again. It provides funding to restore a well-rounded educational system and improve educational outcomes. Schools can use this money to reduce class sizes and restore classes in art, music, math, science, vocational and technical education, and college preparation. Prop 38 helps prevent more budget cuts by setting aside $3 billion annually through 2017 to reduce the state deficit by repaying state education bond debt. Prop 38 provides over $1.1 billion annually to restore budget money to early childhood education, improve quality, and expand access to preschool. California is 47th out of 50 states in per-pupil spending. They say those opposing Prop 28 misrepresent the numbers. Nobody's taxes will go up by 21%. The ranges are between 0.4 through 2.2%, and small businesses will not be devastated. The average increase for incomes between $25,000 and $50,000 per year is $54. Prop 38 provides 5 guarantees to parents and taxpayers. 1. The legislature can't touch the money or use the new money to replace money the schools currently receive. 2. School funding must go per pupil to every school and must be spent at the school. 3. The money can't be spent to increase salaries or pensions of school personnel, and no more than 1% can be spent on administration. 4. Spending decisions will be made locally after receiving public input. Districts must hold open meetings at each school site to get input from parents, educators, and the community before spending the money. 5. School districts will be accountable for improvement at each school. They must set annual educational improvement goals for each school and publicly report how the money was spent and whether improvement goals were achieved. And the no on Prop 38 side. We all want better schools, but throwing $120 billion new tax dollars into a new, unaccountable state bureaucracy will not bring back quality education for our children. Instead of reforming the system, cleaning up waste and abuses, Prop 38 raises taxes and throws more money into an unaccountable bureaucracy, forcing schools to go through complex red tape just to receive basic funding. Moreover, it mandates new programs while necessary school functions have been cut back. Prop 38 is a massive income hike for middle-class taxpayers and small businesses. People earning more than $8,000 per year will pay as much as 21% more over the next 12 years on top of what they already pay the federal government. If you have a child in first grade, you'll be paying higher income taxes until that child graduates from high school. They say Prop 38 will damage small businesses by drastically raising taxes on family businesses that file and pay income taxes as individuals, not as corporations. They say Prop 38 can't be changed for 12 years, even in the case of fraud or waste. Instead of creating jobs and improving the economy, Prop 38 will force family businesses to cut jobs, move out of the state, or even close. If they can stay in business, they'll have to raise prices to pay the higher taxes, which will ultimately be passed on to consumers. Currently, 24% of California students don't graduate from high school. Prop 38 pours more money into a system that is failing our kids without requiring improvements in outcomes for students. This bill includes no requirements to improve school performance or get rid of bad teachers. Too much money will continue to be spent on administration, consultants, pensions, benefits, and overhead, with too little being spent in the classroom. Can you guess? No way. This one raises income tax on virtually everyone. I already did my tax round in the Prop 30 video, so I won't retread the same ground here. Suffice it to say, I am opposed to dumping $10 billion into the infinite black hole of the West, which is also known as the California state budget. But moving on, this bill has some other interesting elements that I find to be disturbing. Public schools are government schools. When a person goes to a community college, that's government schooling. Public high schools, government schooling. Public middle schools, public elementary schools, all government schooling. Public preschools, government schooling. Prop 38 now takes the final step to establish a government birth to age 3 program. Are you serious? They want to raise taxes so that the government can now begin caring for your child from the womb through college. Really, people? Do you really want the government nursing your children from infancy to grade 3, then preschooling them, then all the way up to 21? You have all these government babies running around? That is bizarre and creepy. The program even stipulates that at least 75% of new infants and toddlers enrolled in this program must be committed to full day, full year enrollment. Just absorb that one. Full day, full year. Of course, this bill has all that jargon about accountability, public hearings, and oversight committees, and low-income support, and blah, 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 blah. But it really does not matter to me. I've already made it clear I don't believe that California needs any more money, and that the problem is in the management. I'll even admit that I have a vested interest in Prop 38 passing. I actually stand to profit from it. So even if it does pass, I'll be sad for California, but happy for me. But I'm voting against it because I believe it's the right thing to do. I'll also admit that Proposition 38 would have some positive effects on education. You'd have to be exceptionally stupid to dump $10 billion into anything and have it have no effect. But I think this is not a long-term solution, nor is it the best solution. I hope that on any of these propositions, the vote you cast will not be motivated by selfishness or greed, but by what is right for the state and the country. I think it is immoral to vote based on selfish ambition. What I didn't discuss during Prop 30 that I'll discuss here is that Propositions 30 and 38 are conflicting. If voters pass both Prop 30 and Prop 38, only one of these will go through because they both raise taxes in different ways. Whichever proposition gets more yes votes will go into law, unless they both get voted down, and I'm crossing my fingers. Briefly, here are the differences between Propositions 30 and 38. The Prop 30 money will go into the California General Fund. This year, the money has already been earmarked for education. In future years, however, it's in the California General Fund, and it's really up to the governor and the legislature to decide where they want to spend that money when push comes to shove. Prop 38 does not go into the general fund and will pretty much be guaranteed to go straight to the schools. Prop 30 raises sales taxes on everyone, but income taxes only on the wealthy. Prop 38 raises income taxes on everyone, but doesn't touch the sales tax. Prop 30 lasts for 7 years, Prop 38 lasts for 12 years. Prop 30 provides funding for elementary schools all the way up to colleges. Prop 38 provides funding from birth, but only up to high school. Those are the significant differences, so if you're bent on raising taxes, you can pick your poison. I'm skipping the poison altogether this year, thank you very much. The Daryl Johnson Show says no on Proposition 38.